everyone, welcome back to Wheel Reverend, the place where we break down the latest, greatest, and sometimes the most surprising machines hitting the roads. Today, we've got something special at the 2025 Suzuki RMZ 1050. Whether you're a die-hard Suzuki fan or just someone who appreciates a well-balanced machine that promises thrills without blowing your budget, you'll want to stick around for this one. So what's the RMZ 1050 all about? Well, Suzuki's RMZ lineage has always stood for that sweet spot between accessible performance and everyday usability. The RMZ 1050 doesn't disappoint, in fact, it ups the game in ways that might just surprise you. Let's start with the heart of the beast. Under the sleek fairing sits a 1043cc inline-four engine, inspired by the power plant found in the GSX series but tuned for a broader torque curve and more manageable mid-range punch. This means you're getting around 145 horsepower at about 9,500 RPM and about 105 Nm of torque peaking at 7,800 RPM. But numbers only tell half the story. What really makes this bike shine is how Suzuki has managed to balance raw output with real-world rideability. You get smooth, predictable power delivery that feels just as happy carving up back roads as it does overtaking on a highway. Fire it up, and the exhaust note is immediately rewarding, not obnoxiously loud but throaty enough to remind you you're sitting astride a proper sports touring machine. The throttle response is crisp, thanks to Suzuki's latest ride-by-wire system, and there's a new suite of electronics that really elevates the riding experience. Speaking of electronics, let's talk about what's on offer. The 2025 RMZ 1050 comes with a full AMU-based Tri-Ride package. You get cornering ABS, lean-sensitive traction control, 3 selectable riding modes: A Sport, Touring, and Rain A+, plus a bi-directional quickshifter that works like a dream. The quickshifter in particular is buttery smooth, and once you try it, you'll wonder how you ever rode without one. Cruise control comes standard, and so does Suzuki's low RPM assist, great for stop-and-go city traffic. Now, let's move from what's under the tank to how it all connects with you on the road. The chassis is an evolution of Suzuki's tried-and-true twin-spar aluminum frame, optimized for rigidity and weight distribution. Up front, you'll find fully adjustable Showa forks with separate function technology, which means you can dial in compression and rebound independently for a plush yet responsive front end. At the rear, there's a fully adjustable monoshock that soaks up bumps nicely without wallowing when you're pushing through corners. Braking is handled by dual 320mm Brembo discs up front with radially mounted calipers and a single 250mm disc at the rear. The feel is progressive and reassuring. There's plenty of bite when you need it, but also enough finesse for subtle trail braking when you're tipping it into a bend. And how about the ergonomics? Suzuki knows their riders, and the RMZ 1050 hits a sweet balance between sporty and comfortable. The handlebars are positioned slightly higher than a pure Supersport, and the foot pegs are just rear set enough to give you good cornering clearance without cramping your knees. The seat height is a manageable 825mm, which means most riders can get both feet down easily at a stop. One area where Suzuki's really stepped up is the dash and connectivity. The bike comes with a new 7-inch full-color TFT display, bright, crisp, and easy to read even in direct sunlight. It's fully customizable and displays everything you'd expect: speed, gear position, fuel economy, traction control settings, and ride modes. There's Bluetooth connectivity too, so you can pair it with your phone for turn-by-turn navigation, call and message notifications, and music control, all accessible via handlebar-mounted switches. There's even a USB-C charging port tucked neatly under the fairing, so your devices stay topped up while you rack up the miles. Design-wise, Suzuki's played it smart, aggressive enough to turn heads but not so radical that it alienates everyday riders. You've got sharp lines along the fairing, a new LED headlamp setup with integrated DRLs, and a tail section that's slim yet purposeful. The paint schemes for 2025 are bold. Our test bike here is in Suzuki's signature champion yellow with contrasting black and silver accents. But if that's not your vibe, there's also a stealthy matte black and an eye-catching pearl white option. Weight-wise, fully fueled and ready to ride, The RMZ 1050 tips the scales at about 215 kilograms. That's pretty respectable for a leader-class sports touring machine with this level of equipment and comfort. And thanks to smart mass centralization and a well-balanced chassis, it never feels cumbersome even at low speeds or when filtering through traffic. So, who's this bike for? Well, that's where it gets interesting. The RMZ 1050 isn't pretending to be a race bike. It's not gunning for the hypersport crowd-chasing lap times. Instead, it's aimed at riders who want everyday usability with enough muscle to keep things thrilling. Weekend canyon carver? Absolutely. Commuter with a twist of fun? Yep. Long-distance sports tourer with a few mods like a taller screen or side panniers? Totally doable. One unique selling point Suzuki's really proud of is the reliability factor. This bike isn't just about the flashy spec sheet. It's built with that bulletproof engineering Suzuki's known for: simple maintenance schedules, a robust engine that's understressed for longevity, and parts availability that won't leave you stranded or broke if you ever need a replacement. Another big plus: fuel efficiency. Despite its liter-plus displacement, the RMZ 1050 manages an average of about 45 miles per gallon if you're riding sensibly. With a 20-liter fuel tank, you're looking at a comfortable range north of 200 miles before you even think about finding a gas station. For riders who like putting serious miles under their belt, that's a real win. Alright, let's talk money, because that's where Suzuki's really nailed the value proposition. The 2025 RMZ 1050 comes in at an MSRP of around $13,499 in the US. That's seriously competitive when you stack it up against rivals like the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX or Yamaha's Tracer 9 GT. You're getting comparable, if not better, performance, fully modern electronics, rock-solid build quality, and Suzuki's well-earned reputation for durability, all for a price that won't gut your savings. So, what's the final verdict? After spending time with the 2025 Suzuki RMZ 1050, it's clear this bike is more than just the sum of its parts. It's one of those rare machines that makes you want to ride more often, not just because of the power or the tech, but because it feels honest. There's no intimidation factor, no hidden compromises. It's a bike that you can push hard on the twisties on Saturday, ride to work on Monday, and load up for a weekend trip the next Friday, all without missing a beat. If you're a newer rider looking to level up or a seasoned vet who wants a no-nonsense, do-it-all sports touring machine, the RMZ 1050 should be on your short list. It's proof that Suzuki still knows how to build bikes that balance performance, practicality, and price like few others can. Alright folks, that's it for today's deep dive on the 2025 Suzuki RMZ 1050. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Wheel Reverend for more honest, detailed takes on the latest rides, and let us know in the comments, would you swing a leg over the RMZ 1050, or is there another bike you've got your eye on this year? Thanks for watching, ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.